So yeah, I thought I would start by making a statement that at least 6 million of us can get behind. I think Scots are really sexy. I think the world is a sexier place because of Scotland. The amount of innovations and inventions that we've put out into the world has made the globe just a better place to be. And we've also put out a lot of sexy folk into the world as well. Case in point, these gorgeous people on your screen. And that's why I'm here to talk to you tonight about sexy folk. The Scots word for sex is one of the best, I think, in the entire world. It is an absolute gift of a word, and we're global tonight, so we can properly put that to the test as well, which is quite exciting. There it is. Scots word for sex is hoch magandi. What an absolute gift of a word. That is a word that is really serious about sex. It is enthusiastic, it's maybe a wee bit rough, and it is absolutely joyful. And the same can be said for the tradition that we have in Scotland of bawdy, songs and poetry. It's been said that the Scots tradition has a thick seam of good, clean barnyard dirt running right through it, and it absolutely does. We have hundreds upon hundreds of songs and poems that are celebrations of sexuality and sensuality, and it's really something to be proud of. And it flies in the face of a negative stereotype about Scots, that of the dour Scotsman, typified, I think, by ex-UK Prime Minister Gordon Brown. That hangdog expression is, I think, the result of years of repression by church and state. How amazing then that our folk tradition should have these wee pockets of sexy rebellion just bubbling up through it. It's really something to be proud of. And in Dundee, where I live, we don't have to go too far to find any of this stuff. This book, The Songs and Ballads of Dundee, it's a historical document really about ways of life and areas of the city that don't exist anymore. And my favourite song in it, unsurprisingly, is a bawdy one, and it's about an area of the city that doesn't exist anymore. And that is called the Beef Can Close. There it is. Now, the story of the song is about a young ploughman who meets a young woman in a pub. Her name is Jemima Ross, and they have a wee bit to drink. They go back to her lodgings in the Beef Can Close, and Jemima gives him a wee bit of dinner of meat and pies, and then she gives him a wink and a nod and asks him to come bend the hoose to her bedroom. And he awakes in the morning in the bottom of the Beef Can Close, having spent the night dreaming of being in the arms of Jemima Ross. And, well, maybe other meat and pie-based activities, if you catch my drift. Now, that is really subtle chat for the Scots folk tradition in terms of bawdiness. A lot of it is a bit more explicit than that, thanks to Robbie Burns, our national poet. Now, Burns is, he was a collector and writer of traditional Scots poetry and song. And he's often the lens through which we see ourselves in Scotland and our culture. And he's most famed for being a romantic poet. And I mean that both with and without the capital R. So there are songs like My Love is Like a Red, Red Rose, like these gorgeous odes to women that he knew, and any number of really beautiful songs and poems about the landscape and nature and its relationship with the human condition. But not all of Burns's works were quite so wholesome. It's reported that there was a book found in Burns's bedroom just after he died called The Merry Muses of Caledonia. Now, The Merry Muses of Caledonia, this book is a veritable cornucopia of absolute filth. It is disgusting. The content in here is incredible, and it's caused a great degree of consternation amongst Burns scholars because, well, it's so dirty. It wasn't published until over 100 years after his death, because these scholars were scandalised by what they found in the Merry Muses. The content is quite incredible, because if Burns is the lens through which we see ourselves in Scottish culture, then where's the place for all these songs about bums and boobs and willies? Well, if Burns thought it was for them, then I do too. So the song I'm going to sing for you this evening is my favourite from the Merry Muses, and it tells the story of an old woman in a pub who's asked by a young man exactly what it is that women are looking for in a sexual partner. And, well, folks, her answer is pretty class. The title of the song is 9 Inch Will Please a Lady. Here we go. Come read me, dame, come tell me, dame, my dame, come tell me truly, what length though great when a wheel cut him will sit a woman duly. The calling clue once until stay ready. I learned to stand in Annandale, 9 Inch will please a lady. And she said, but for a country cunt like mine, in sooth were nae sae gentle, we'll tack twa thumb breath to the night, and that's a song sae pintle. Ah, come lead me on, my Charlie lad, I'll never forget my Charlie. No, 'twar roaring hand-foot and a dot. He mitched a 10-foot early, and the weedy father leaving down, and me it ne'er can thriving. For it's no the length that gars me loud, but it's the double driving. Ah, come nitch me time, come notch me time, come nitch me out of the nival. Come louse and lug your battering ram, and thrash him at MacGyver. Come louse and lug your battering ram, and thrash him at MacGyver. Now that is absolute filth for those of you that don't understand like 17th century Scots. And I will put up a little slide up on the hashtag later on, so you can kind of get to grips with some of this stuff, because it's kind of lost in translation, quite a bit of it. Now, I should say this is a UK-wide thing. It's not completely specific to Scotland, this tradition of bawdy songs and poetry. So, you know, speak to a folkie from where you're from. There's a hell of a lot more of that stuff kicking around. And if this has piqued your interest in bits of the Scottish tradition, then do yourselves a favour and YouTube this gentleman, Kenneth McKellar, The Ball of Kirriemuir. It's maybe testament to just how filthy and inventive that the Scots can be. Thanks, folks. Enjoy.